Hello and welcome to the recording of cost of sales bought by cash. Below is an illustration document in the bottom right section. This document by classification and filing should be found on the purchases and payments file. Let's start by identifying the vital information on this document for recording purposes. Point number 1. It is a purchase of materials, which is a cost of sales. And remember, these are documents for a hotel, so that should be the foods and other consumables that they use. Number 2 is the mode of payment, which was cash. Number 3 is that it's a T0 VAT transaction and there was no VAT. Number 4 is the date of the transaction, which was the 6th of November, and probably the total amount paid, which was 740. The next task is to identify the recording form. So we click the accounting tab, proceed to the cost of sales section, click, and the first form there is for cost of sales paid. When that is clicked, the form comes up. When this form comes up, the first task is to narrow down to the appropriate VAT rate. According to the document, it is a T0 transaction. So we select the 0% VAT option, and actually that one gives us one extra row for recording the VAT amount. The next task is to identify the account to be debited for materials or cost of sales. We click the drop down, and in this case it is stock purchases at the 0 rate. Click that and press tab to get to the lower accounts box. In here we need to select the account which paid, and that is a cash account. Click the drop down, select 212 cash, and that is done. Purchases excluding VAT is not optional. It's there because it should be displayed on the double entry form. So when we click tab, we get there, but there are no options. So click tab again to get into the amounts box. Now we type the amount to be debited, which is 740, according to the source document, 740. When that is typed, the amount to be credited is generated, and the amount for the net purchases account is also generated. Tab again, and we require to type in the narration. In this case, it is materials. Materials, and do caps lock. Materials, and we can say that should do. That should do. Tab, The same narration is duplicated below. And next we look at source document number, which is number 15. Type that in, click tab, we get to the date. The date is supposed to be the 6th of November. So we type 06/11/15 and tab to select the month, and the first month of the business was November. So we type 01, tab again. Since we don't want to modify the narration on the second row, then we click insert. When insert is clicked, the data is pasted behind, and we say OK to that. The recording form disappears, and the data is on the double entry page. So here we have the dates entered, the month 01, quarter, narration, document number is 15, transaction number is 1, since there is no other transaction on the sheet before that. Then we've got the amounts, the accounts, the general ledger indication, and the notes. The 740 is to be debited to account 23. The minus 740 is credited to the cash account which paid. And the 740 is debited to purchases excluding VAT account. And the VL indicates that this account is found in the VAT ledger. That's the end of the recording. And the next thing to do is to update all reports with what has been recorded. So we click Ctrl Alt F5. The first time, Ctrl Alt F5. The second time, and these should be updated onto the various ledger accounts. Let us have a quick look. Periodic reports, general ledger. Yes, the 740 is debited to stock purchases, account 23. The 740 is credited to the cash account. Let's have a quick look at the trial balance. The trial balance shows the two entries, and the grand total is 0 to indicate that double entry was satisfied. Next, we have a look at the VAT computations, or the VAT ledger. We find the 740 onto the purchases excluding VAT account. May want to have a look at the profit and loss account for the first quarter. 740 is already there as part of the cost of sales. And well, we are done with that entry. So we click double entry to scroll back to where the transaction was pasted on the double entry sheet. And that is the end of our demonstration. See you in the next task.